Welcome to part 4 of my journey towards the PNPT certification by TCM Academy. Now, before we get started into this review of the Practical Ethical Hacker course by TCM Academy, I need you to know that I am a TCM Academy content creator, but I was not paid or given any extra coupons besides those available to normal people, and I paid for this course with my own money, so all the opinions here are my own. Now, this Practical Ethical Hacker course, I did take it quite a few years ago before it actually had an Active Directory portion and when it was only available on Udemy. So, I did take this course previously, so it was a little bit different about 2 years ago when I took this. But let's go through some of the material that's included in this course. So the PEH materials, my notes here are on the left. If you look all the way down at the bottom of that little note section there, you'll see that I actually have 3 different cheat sheets from this course. And that's just because the content here is so diverse and it covers so many different areas, I tried to break it out into 3 important sections. So my first cheat sheet down there, where you can see with the star here, that cheat sheet is just for normal hacking commands, stuff like that. The next one is only for buffer overflow attacks, and the final one there is for Active Directory attacks. So because this covers so much content, not only the pen testing process, but also specific vectors like buffer overflows and Active Directory, I wanted to break that out so that I can have those cheat sheets right on hand. I don't have to go through my notes to look through them. So I definitely recommend, if you're taking this course, to break out your notes in this way as well. You can see that I have like the course resources, subnetting, Python. Every really big section of the course I broke up into its own note section, and then I also made some cheat sheets for those that I thought would be important or that I'd be referring to often. So in the Practical Ethical Hacker course, the labs that are included are the following. The mid-course capstone has 5 boxes that are all hosted on Hack the Box, and to get access to those boxes, they are retired machines, so you actually have to have a Hack the Box membership to gain access. As I'll talk about a little bit later, there are also ones on Try Hack Me that could be a good alternative to these as well, but the main ones offered in the course or suggested by the course are these Hack the Box boxes. So we have Blue, Academy, Dev, Butler, and Black Pearl. Again, to gain access to those boxes, I'm pretty sure you have to have a Hack the Box membership. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about the overall cost of taking this course. For the Active Directory portion of the course, you can either build that lab on the cloud or you can build it locally. Locally building it is not going to cost you anything extra. Just keep in mind that you're going to want to have some pretty decent specs for your host machine to be able to run a few different machines at the same time. If you do cloud-based, of course, that's going to run you some extra cost, anything like that. But if you're good to go on the local machine perspective, then there should be no additional costs there. For the buffer overflow of this course, it's mostly all done using Vault Server, which is pretty simple, and it's shown in a lot of different buffer overflow tutorials. But it's a good example with a few different functions and stuff like that. It's good for the buffer overflow section. And really for this course, there is no capstone, which I'll talk about a little bit in the pros and cons of the course. Previously, when I did take the Practical Ethical Hacker, it did have some course capstones. Like you had 3 or 4 boxes at the very end you had to finish as well. So kind of interesting that that was removed in the later version of the course, but I also feel like because this covers so much material, buffer overflows, the overall pen testing process, and Active Directory on top of it, it is quite a lot of material. Okay, so overall, the course outline, it's over 40 hours of video content here, so there's tons and tons of material in the Practical Ethical Hacker. And really, to me, this is the best bang for your buck course on TCM Academy, and also in terms of the PNPT prep situation, the Practical Ethical Hacker is definitely the biggest bang for your buck of all those courses. So this course covers everything from the basics of pen testing, where we're talking about the pen testing process, how does a pen tester think, what do they give at the end of their assessment, and it goes all the way from the beginnings of the pen testing process to the reporting, and you're going to be talking about Active Directory, different types of attacks, how to research exploits on like Exploit DB, everything like that. This course has tons of content, and it's definitely great for beginners as well. Again, lab component, it is pretty good. Everything is all in Hack the Box for anything that's not local or based in the cloud. I also recommend if you're going to be taking the PNPT exam uh, certification, then I definitely recommend you supplement this course as well to reinforce those concepts from the course. The Active Directory room on TryHackMe, which is all Active Directory based, and also if you want to practice your network pivoting, which is really just touched on very briefly in the course materials here. I definitely recommend that you go and you practice your pivoting in something like the Reef network or in one of the networks that allows for pivoting in Hack the Box as well. So my two recommendations as suggested supplements, if you're really serious about taking the PNPT certification exam, is that you do the Active Directory room and you do the Reef network so you get some experience with pivoting. Again, cost here for the Practical Ethical Hacker course is just $30. Sometimes you can find coupons for this to get it as low as $15. Definitely worth every penny. Definitely worth its weight in gold, this 40 hours of course content for the Practical Ethical Hacker. So, conclusions overall for the new Practical Ethical Hacker course. The pros, of course, it's always going to be great for beginners. This is really a from nothing to being a pretty decent pen tester, okay? It's great for beginners if you're looking to get into practical ethical hacking. This is where I'd recommend you start, and this is where I would recommend that you spend your first $30 if you're going for that, right? I think out of all the materials that is part of the PNPT certification preparation course, that you're going to learn the most from this. Even me going through this with some years of pen testing experience, even going through this course, I was like, oh hey, I kind of forgot about this part of the methodology, or hey, I didn't focus enough attention here. So it's good for course correcting yourself there as well, and to really, get your thought process down for an exam environment like you'll be facing for the PNPT exam. Again, the lab environment is really nice, and what Heath does a great job with in this course is providing a walkthrough for every single box that is part of the course capstones, right? So he walks through every box step by step so you can go along with him and see exactly what he did. So that's very helpful for beginners. And even if you did not do the lab on your own, you can still do the walkthrough, understand the attack vectors, and understand how you'd apply it in other situations. Another pro for this course, of course, is that it has the Active Directory basics. So if you're looking for a little bit of understanding of how Active Directory works, how you can attack it, and everything like that, that's all here. So definitely a lot of pros here. Again, it covers tons and tons of content in this course. In terms of cons for the Practical Ethical Hacker, the Hack the Box subscription, you're going to have to pay extra for that just to get the absolute best experience from the course materials. Again, there are a few alternatives on TryHackMe. For example, I think there's a Jenkins room which is similar to Butler on Hack the Box. There's also a Blue room on TryHackMe, which is basically one for one exactly with Hack the Box. So I'd say choose one or the other, but if you want the best experience, definitely you're going to want to go for Hack the Box to be able to get the best experience. And one of the other cons I'll talk about a little bit here is that there's not really a course capstone final challenge, so to speak. So about halfway through the course, there is a capstone where you're going to be doing the Hack the Box boxes that I mentioned, but there's not really like a final challenge where he goes and says, hey, go to this one, and then we'll walk through it, right? So it's kind of missing from that perspective of having the very final course capstone challenge to put everything together, but he does finish it up with reporting, how you report out, and what you can do next for your career to start moving towards a pen testing position. So even though there is no really formal final last challenge, I still think that this course is absolutely worth its weight in gold. And if I wanted to recommend one course to anyone who wanted to get started in pen testing, this is the one I would recommend. It's only $30 and it will get you tons of bang for your buck, so to speak, right? So that's my thoughts on the new and improved Practical Ethical Hacker course. I hope you enjoyed, and soon I'll be putting up my review of the PNPT certification.